Hello, good evening and welcome to today's video class. Today we're looking at page 65 and we're going to have a look at our pronunciation exercise, which is number 2, and the focus is intonation and linking in exclamations. Are you ready to go? So here we go. Let's have a look at letter A. Now in letter A it says, listen to 2 dialogues and complete the exclamations. Are you ready? Here we go.
4.4 1. Did you know that America was named after a British merchant called Richard Americ?
How interesting. I'd always wondered where the name came from.
2.
Lloyd and Mitchinson think that school shouldn't be compulsory.
What a ridiculous idea. If it wasn't compulsory, no one would ever go.
Now, did you get those? Now I have to put them here because they don't fit in the box. It happens sometimes. So let's have a look. In number 1, letter B says, how interesting. And number 2, letter B says, what a ridiculous idea. Did you get that? Very nice. Now, it says, listen again and answer the questions with a partner. Now, again, just listen, play the video back a little bit and listen again. And then question number 1 says, which word has extra stress in each exclamation? And what happens to the intonation? And number 2, asking, why do you think a w sound is added between how and the adjective? Any ideas? Shall we check? Well, it says here, it's the adjective that has extra stress, and the intonation is more exaggerated with extra stress on the stressed syllable. No? So maybe interesting would become interesting. Ridiculous would become ridiculous, no? As in our examples. And number 2, the w sound is added because interesting begins with a vowel, and when a word ending in w is followed by a word beginning in a vowel, the words are linked and a w sound is inserted between them. No? How interesting. No? So interesting really becomes winteresting. How interesting. Now, can you hear it? Very good. Now there are some more examples in letter C. Let's have a look. Can you see letter C? It says, practice saying some more common exclamations with how and what. Now, before we do this exercise, how about we do a quick bit of revision on exclamations? Do you think that's a good idea? Okay, here we go. So, exclamations. In English, we make exclamations by using how plus an adjective. For example, can you see how? Exciting. There's my adjective. No? And as we mentioned before, the intonation is very important, no? So if it's exciting, well, perhaps I'd say exciting, no? Exaggerating the stressed syllable there. So how exciting, no? And we can also make exclamations with what. And in that case, we use what plus an adjective plus a noun. For example, what an interesting book. And again, here's my adjective, interesting, which is going to be the important word now. So if the stress syllable is the first one, interesting, well, it would probably be even more exaggerated in an exclamation. No? Interesting. No? What an interesting book. Now, we usually give the adjective extra emphasis, of course, because that's the important information. And we use rise, fall intonation. No? Interesting, exciting, ridiculous. Now, the intonation here is very important because if the adjective is said with a flat or falling tone, it could sound as if you are uninterested or even if you are being sarcastic. Now, for example, how interesting, how exciting, what a wonderful story. No, can you hear the difference? What a wonderful story. How interesting, how exciting, how exciting. No, can you hear the difference there? So we don't want to sound sarcastic and we don't want to sound like we are uninteresting, no? So we got to get the intonation right. How exciting. What an interesting book. What a lovely day. Now, can you hear the excitement and the intonation there? Very good. Now also, if we look at the next section here, it says in many of these exclamations, the words are linked together. Now, we've seen linking in Unit 5A, no? So if necessary, go back and take a look. But we're going to add the following linking rule here. So when a word ending with W, such as how, no, is followed by a word beginning with a vowel sound. A W sound is inserted between the two words. Oops, excuse me, I'm missing a T. Excuse me, my mistake. Can you see? I'm missing a T here. Excuse me, between the two words. No, so how exciting, how interesting. No, of course, if I say how, there's no need to exaggerate the w, no, but if I add a word beginning with a vowel sound, how exciting, how interesting, no, we get that very nice w sound to create the link, no? So is that clear? Well then let's go back to our book and we'll practice now exercise C. Can you see it? Let's see. Practice saying some more common exclamations with how and what. Now I want you to focus here, if you can, on the linking. Huh? What a great idea. What a great idea. What an amazing coincidence. What a terrible experience. No? What a terrible experience. How annoying. How annoying. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. How weird. How weird, no? So there we have some examples. Try to make an effort there with the link, no? Between the what a great idea, what an amazing coincidence, what a terrible experience, no? And the w with the vowels, no? How annoying, how embarrassing. And don't forget, in the last example, let's just take a very quick look here. Now, can you see this one here? How weird. Well, of course, the w sound is shared, no? With how and weird, so we don't need to repeat it, no? How weird, how weird, how weird. Now, can you hear? So we don't have to say how weird. Now, how weird. But we've seen that rule, no? When we have a similar or the same consonant sound, no? At the end of one word and the beginning of the other, we don't pronounce it twice, no? Do you remember that one? Very good. So it says communication, what a ridiculous idea. Now here we've got some scenarios and you can use some of the previous expressions now to practice. So let's go and let's take a look at our scenarios. Let's start with page 107. So can you see here 7a? Can you see 7a? What a ridiculous idea. So let's have a look at some of these. It says, read your sentences to be, he or she will respond with an explanation. Well, I'm going to read them and you can respond. No? Let's make it a little bit bigger so you can see it. Now, is that better? Oops, maybe too big. Here we go. Did you know that you're not supposed to call a female actor an actress because it's considered sexist? How would you react? What about the next one? I was fined by a policeman yesterday for talking on my mobile phone while I was parked. What about the next one? My sister got married on Saturday and it rained all day. Now, what a pity. I think that's a nice one. Oh, what a pity, no? I thought we could go to the cinema and then have dinner at the new Italian place down the road. What about the next one? My daughter's goldfish died this morning. What about the next one? Did you know my parents were both born on exactly the same day? And the last one, you won't believe it, but my sister just won 200,000 euros in the lottery. Okay, did you react? Well, then let's try the other ones because they're on page 110. Let's try the other ones. Here we go. Can you see them over here? What a ridiculous idea. Can you see it? And again, let's make it a little bit bigger. So again, you have to respond, using how or what. Let's see. So let's have a look at the first one. I was at home all morning waiting for the electrician to come and he didn't turn up. What would you say? How would you react? What about the next one? We're going to New York on Friday for a long weekend. Ooh, how lovely, no? For example. What about the next one? Jack's going to take Sue to the theatre for their anniversary and then they're having a candlelit dinner at the new Italian restaurant. Ooh, I know what I'd say to that. What would you say? What about the next one? My parents were burgled last night. They took all my mom's jewellery. That's a very nice verb, no? To burgle means to enter usually a house and to steal things. So it's not a very nice sentence, but the verb is nice, burgle. No? What about the next one? Even though I got 70% in the exam, the teacher refused to pass me. Ooh, how unfair. What would you say? What about the next one? I really put my foot in it at the party last night. I called Tom's wife Anna, but that's his ex-wife's name. And what about the last one? Maria's husband collects photos of Angelina Jolie. He has hundreds of them. So this is a chance for you to practice, no? How interesting, how weird, what an amazing experience. So if you need to listen again, have a go, and you can react in the spaces that I have left you. Now, before we finish for today, I'd like to take a look at the workbook. Now, if you don't have the workbook, don't worry, but if you do, you might as well take it out and have a look. So we're going to look at our workbook, and we're going to look at page 43. Can you see page 43? And we're going to do our pronunciation exercise just to practice intonation and linking in exclamations. So, are you ready? It says, listen and tick the phrases where the words are linked with a W sound. Are you ready? Here we go.
7A. Pronunciation. A. 1.
How awful.
2.
How fantastic!
3.
How exciting.
4.
How wonderful!
5.
How ridiculous.
6.
How unkind!
7.
How brilliant.
8.
How weird!
Have you got some ideas? Shall we check? Which ones do you think are linked? We've got number 3, how exciting. Number 4, how wonderful. No, because we've got W there. No, we've got 2 W sounds. No, so we take advantage. No, do you remember? No, how wonderful. How wonderful. Very good. Number 6, how unkind. And number 8, how weird. And again, it's for the same reason. No, it's for the same reason as number 4 because we have the W's. How weird. No, but if we look at number 2, how fantastic. Not linked. Number 5, how ridiculous, not linked. And number 7, how brilliant, not linked. No? So the ones that are linked are the ones which have a vowel sound, which would be number 3, no? And number 6, no? And the ones which have a W, number 4, and number 8. Now it says, practice saying the exclamations, copying the rhythm and intonation. So just rewind back the video and listen again. Okay? Now let's have a look at exercise C. It says draw a line between the words that are linked. We've got an example. What an absolute disaster. What an absolute disaster. What an absolute disaster. Shall we listen? Let's see if you can correctly identify the links. Here we go.
7A. Pronunciation. D. 1.
What an absolute disaster.
2.
What a tragic end.
3.
What a nice surprise.
4.
What a sad ending.
5.
What an awful thing to happen.
6.
What a horrible story.
7.
What a lovely day.
Now again, if you need to listen, just rewind a little bit and play it again. But right now, we're going to check. Have you got some ideas? Let's see. So here we have our sentences with the linking. So can you see number 2? What a tragic end. What a tragic end. What a tragic end. No, number 3. What a nice surprise. What a nice surprise. What about number 4? What a sad ending. What a sad ending. What about number 5? What an awful thing to happen. What an awful thing to happen. What about number 6? What a horrible story. What a horrible story. And what about number 7? What a lovely day. What a lovely day. Now again, I'm exaggerating the linking in order for you to hear it properly now. But if we don't exaggerate, we have what a tragic end, what a nice surprise, what a sad ending, what an awful thing to happen, what a horrible story, and what a lovely day. Now, so there you go, lots for you to practice. Now, before we finish for today, let's explain a little bit what we're going to have a look at tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to have a look at our vocabulary exercise, which is word formation, prefixes. Okay, so if you would like, what you can do, you can have a look at our vocabulary bank on page 168, and you can have a look at, especially maybe there, exercise number 1, negative prefixes. Oops, excuse me. Negative prefixes. Negative prefixes. Let's see if you can put those into the correct box. Okay, but we'll do exercise number 3 tomorrow. Okay, so that's all from me for now. Thanks for listening.